Hi, welcome back. Defiant Wings, Defiant 28 build video series. I believe this is number 8. So, a couple last things before we get on to spraying some 3M90 and prepping this for paint. I'm going to remove the control horns here. I don't want those on while I'm painting. It's going to make it easier. I'm going to cut in a compartment here for the receiver, and I don't think I'm going to need any voltage regulators. I think I will. One 5-volt regulator here, because I'm going to be using a multi-rotor ESC here. So a receiver and 5-volt regulator down inside of there, and some indentations for the motor mount, so you can see the nut wells there extend into the foam where the motor mounts. Okay, so we're gonna make some clearance there. So I'm gonna take the control horns off. And put these back into a baggie. I think I'm gonna wire in a 12-volt regulator too. So two 3-amp regulators, one 5-volt and one 12-volt. Because I think I'm gonna put some LEDs on the back of this for the guy I'm building it. LEDs are nice in this area here. They really make it look like some jet thrusters, or just makes it look neater. But I don't know, maybe do some white ones or some red ones. I think I'm going to be painting this wing like red and black. I think that'll look pretty sick. Alright, so for this hatch here, it's sticking with my opinion of measuring everything out, not doing much freehand. What I'm going to do is find the middle here. So this is a 4.5, so I want to go 2.25 at the middle, and I think that's about a 1/4 inch back there, a little bit more, so it's about 5/16 back. That's fine. And my other hatch, I'm gonna make 2.5 inches. What now? I'm gonna go 2 inches. That should be plenty. Go 2 inches. Go 5/8. I'm kind of leery about going too far back, getting into the motor mount. So 2 inches, right? Yeah, so I said 2 inches. Okay. Those. Now, all right. So I'm just going to take my knife again. Nice sharp knife. I don't know how much sharp this one is anymore. EPP likes a really sharp blade, so I'm going to use this one. This one's nice and sharp. I know it is. Okay, so just going to plunge it down. Going to go pretty deep with this. Probably, the depth of the X-Acto blade there, because we're going to be clearing out a whole compartment down in there. So the hatch cover is going to be about 1/4 inch thick, something like that. But there's going to be a whole hollowed out compartment down in there. Okay. Now, here's kind of a little trick. It's dull. Okay. Just use this one. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in down here like this and just make a slice right through the wall and everything, and then afterwards I'm just going to come and glue that slice shut with some goop or E6000. So lots of light slices here. starting to get down. You can kind of see, if you hold it up to the light, you can kind of see exactly how far your blade is in there. Okay. There. See that? Now you do just like with the servo pockets, and you just make a bunch of score lines, a grid of cuts, and we're going to pluck all that crap right out of there. Okay. If your blade is dragging on this foam, it's not sharp enough. Like if it's catching and pulling on the foam, it's not sharp enough. You gotta get a new blade. I bought this thing for like $2 at Harbor Freight, and I get a blade refill. There's like 5 blade refills for $1 or $1.50, something like that. So it's pretty cheap. So now I'm just like pick and pluck foam. Okay, the bottom. The floor doesn't need to be perfect on this. We're just going to be throwing receiver and voltage regulators in there. Be fine if it's an uneven floor. If you're a stickler for a nice even floor, you can come in with an iron, something like that, and melt that out, or a Dremel rotary tool with a right kind of bit on there to get that nice and flat. I don't really care, and it's going to look. This floor is going to be looking great when it's flying by at 80 miles an hour. Alright, sorry for that interruption. Okay. So, I got a nice cavity there, and my my cover is not very flat, so I'm just going to take the knife and kind of trim it, shave it until it's better. Doesn't need to be perfect on the inside. Okay, so okay. Now I'll take that there, and at some point in the very near future, I'll glue that shut. Perhaps after I spray this with 3M 90. 3M77 can work too, but 3M90 is great. Okay, so my torch again. First, let's mark this. Always getting ahead of myself. So, come in here. I'm just kind of marking where I need to put these melted out areas here. Doesn't need to be an exact fit, as long as it allows the motor mount to sit nice and flush there. Be fine. Okay, so okay, my multi-purpose melting rod here. Every time you heat copper up and anneal it, it softens back up again, and you remove all the work hardening. But if you were to bend that wire back and forth quickly, you know, many times, the bend would get work hardened really quickly, and it would harden up, and you'd fatigue and snap the wire right off. But as long as you heat it back up like this hot again, it softens right back up. I'm all done with that already. So do it from the bottom side here. I'll show you. Okay, so now we're sitting in there nice and flush. So this motor mount will get gooped on after lamination and painting. We'll goop that on close to the very end as part of the final equipment installation. So now we're ready to move on to 3M90. Just bear with me. Let me get that set up here real quick. Okay. 3M90. Any kind of high strength spray contact adhesive is going to work great for this. It's not an absolute must to do this step, and I didn't do it for a while, but the last several wings I've built, I've done this, and the laminate sticks like nobody's business. The paint goes on great. It's just a really great system. So credit that to Chris Click at Right Wing, I think, for kind of starting that trend and that build technique. He's got a lot of great videos out there. If you're ever bored and looking to learn some more about how to build a wing, go look up Chris Click stuff. He's got a lot. Okay, so overspray be damned. So this is I forget what they call this stuff. I put this stuff underneath my wood floor. It's like, I don't know, I think it's under $10 for a roll that's like 200 feet long or something. So I always break this stuff out. It's thick too. I always break this stuff out if I need to spray something or paint something or protect something. Sometimes I just have it, my build surface here is getting kind of old, so sometimes I'll just have this out here to have a nice, good, clean build surface. My hatch here, I want to just have that in place, kind of just like that. It's fine. I think I'm just going to pin that into place too. The prototype I built, I hadn't cut that hatch out yet, so I didn't have to do this step, but we'll do that here. Keeping in mind that I want to glue that slit part there on the battery bay wall. So, oops. So, I have to figure out a way to hold that up. Maybe if I press on it like this. Yeah, it seems to work good. Okay, so that's not going to go anywhere, and I'll be able to press down on that. And my little servo blankers here, servo, whatever you want to call them. Kevin Pratt, I think I mentioned it, but he's the one that turned me on to that. He just uses paper plates, just the bottom of the paper plates. I don't have any of those, but I had this cardstock material here. Just thinking here, so okay, we're ready. So the thing with 3M90, the first time I used it, I thought it was garbage. I was really turned off by it because it comes out like in a really snotty, thick spray. The trick is if you're too far away, you know, if you're like, you know, 10 inches, 12 inches away, the spray kind of, here, let me get a marker and show you. The spray kind of, so if this is your nozzle, right, the spray comes out. See that on the, yeah. So the spray comes out in like this thin cone. So if you're looking at it straight on, you know, it'd be like a basically a straight line straight on. But from the side, it comes out in a thin cone, and like, so this distance is like maybe 4 to 6 inches, and then it starts coming back onto itself, and then from here it just gets really snotty and not a very good spray pattern. And so that distance is somewhere, you know, 6 to 10, 12 inches, somewhere in that vicinity. So I tend to spray kind of close within that 4 to 6 inch area, you know, somewhere in here, and get a nice straight line. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? So you may notice that the surface is kind of lumpy, lines in there where the, you know, the edges of your spray are building up. Not a big deal. The paint the paint's going to go on there just fine. It's going to look rough as you paint it and as you're getting there, but as soon as you put the laminate down on there with that hot iron, it's going to squish it all nice and flat, and it's all going to melt into one fusion of layers. All right, so forgot here. I don't want to spray this down into the battery bay floor, so I'm just going to throw some tape down on there just to protect it. Right. Like that. Get my knife. It's funny, you start out with a nice clean bench at the beginning of every build, and by the end, it's like a disaster. Or am I the only one? I don't think so, but sometimes I'm better about it, and I actually keep an organized bench and put stuff away, or at least put it off to the side in a single pile. See, I still got my blade out, my yellow box. There, I started cleaning up. How about that? All right. So I hope you can kind of see this on the screen here, but so you're going to start off of the edge, hit the nozzle, start spraying, and come and spray right off and then stop. Because if you stop while you're still on where you want to spray, there's going to be a minute additional amount of buildup there. Right? So just do your best. You know, I think what I'm going to do is go spray it like this. Okay, so there, you see that line there, right? So that's kind of where you want to be. All right, so I'll move it back up this way. Turn around. Okay, that's the top all done. Now I'm going to do the front like this. Just make sure I get a nice good coverage on the front and around the edges of the openings. That's where your stuff tends to not stick very well. So, okay. Now you don't want to take this and turn it over on that sprayed stuff here, because your damn wing is going to stick to it. All right, so I just flip that over. Now I don't really give a damn about my bench top here. It's kind of dusty and, you know, not the cleanest of bench tops here. This is Homosote. It's a sound deadening material. So all that sticky crap on the other side of this paper here is going to pick up all the dust and stuff and not stick. All right, so let's see here. Okay. Flip it over gently. And let's do the other side. We're low on stuff here. Okay. Okay. Make sure I get the leading edge. Oops, see, I sprayed it upside down, which is a trick for cleaning it. So all right. Now, like I just mentioned, the trick for cleaning the nozzle after you're done spraying, if you want it to spray good the next time, just wipe off the front face of the nozzle like that. Okay, hold it upside down, and spray it into like a trash can until it stops spraying the contact cement out, and it's just propellant. It'll be clean there, clean at that point. Okay, now I'm going to be putting this back in the bed, but I don't want it to contact the bed, so I'm going to be taking these pins here, and I'm just going to stick them down into the foam like this, okay, just to hold it up off the bed and allow air to kind of circulate around the foam. And these don't need to be in there perfectly, it just needs to hold the core up, the airplane up off the bed, and it'll be fine. Alright. Okay, so yeah. Uh-oh. See, that popped off there. So we'll just put that back in place there. Okay. There, I think you can kind of see how that's holding it up off the bed there. You're going to let that dry and tack off. It doesn't need to be completely dry, but you know, I'm probably going to give it like the better part of an hour or maybe 2 hours before I start thinking about paint. That's going to let me go figure out what my paint scheme is and stuff. Thanks for watching.